welcome to Coley Cole Entertainment. Let's talk about it with Ron and Sharen. My name is Ron Colson,
I'm Sharen Colson.
and today we're here to introduce to you our new docu-series on fatherhood under the topic, Because of Him, I Am. Let's talk about it with Ron and Sharen. Where did that concept come from, Sharen?
The concept came from you and your friends,
Okay.
where I seen that a couple of the men or some of the men were sharing the same experiences, and they really didn't talk about them. So I wanted to do something for fatherhood where it would show that a lot of men did experience the same thing, but it really wasn't talked about.
So we interviewed individuals, different men and different women that we interviewed, and all on the topic about fatherhood, what being a father meant to them, and how they were treated as a child under a father and fatherhood, and
How it impacted their life, how it affected their life. Everyone was pretty transparent about everything that they talked about. They talked about the good, the bad, the ugly. They talked about the wonderful things of being a parent. A lot of the men talked about being a parent. Some of the ladies talked about the effects that fatherhood had on them having a parent in the home or an absentee father.
yeah.
So
I mean, this is going to be a great series for you to listen to watch. So watch carefully, listen to all the interviews because it's going to really help you. It's really going to touch your heart. It's going to bless you. It really blessed us while we were
yes.
doing the interview. I mean, we had a lot of feedback that was so positive, and there were some people, as Sharon stated, that were so transparent, and they opened up, and they were really actually glad and happy to been able to participate in the interview. Because they were able to open up and stuff they said they were holding in for many years.
Right.
And you're going to hear them talk about it, and it might be stuff that you may be holding in also that you probably want to hear something about it, and someone that's sharing the same experience that you shared. And how important it is, especially how to be a father and teaching young fathers how to be a father and what their fathers meant to them.
And the importance of being a father and being in your child's life. So we would like you to stay tuned for episode 1, where we have Clinton Holloway, who is going to blow your socks off.
Blow your mind.
It's an amazing interview. Stay tuned, and we'll see you after the interview.
For coming out. The subject today is Because of Him, I Am. Can you just say your name and your family dynamic?
My name is Clinton Holloway, and my family dynamics. My father passed away when I was young. I was still in junior high school. As a matter of fact, I closed his eyes. I was there for his last breath. So it was a life-changing event for me.
Wow, that's tough. That's tough. How did that affect you?
To be honest with you,
was that like a closure for you?
it wasn't a closure, man. I was a young man, and me and my father, we weren't close. My father was a little mean, and he was strict on some things. The saying used to be back in the day, "Don't do as I do, do as I say."
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't really have a close relationship. I saw him every day. He was a hard worker, but my dad liked to drink, and he drank all the time. I was his firstborn. Well, I take that back. I wasn't his firstborn. The person I thought was his sister for many decades actually was my sister.
Oh.
And I didn't find out until me and my brother was arguing, and he said, "That's why your aunt is your sister."
Oh, man.
So I really never got a chance to really make a relationship with him. We did some things together. I can remember it. I use the term life-changing events. Those are some of the events that helped me be the person I am. I don't regret them. But yeah, I didn't really know my father that well.
I see. I see. So, you said that you have. I know you said you have a few kids.
I have one daughter. She has two kids, Chloe and Jaden, and they're in my other house that I own in Alabama. She's grown, and my soldiers. I love them to death, and I took care of them like my kids. So I get emails and texts and Facebook shout outs all the time from them.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's your extended family.
yes.
Okay, so, so how do you feel, or when you first found out that you was going to become a father?
Wow, that was like mixed emotions. It was crazy at first because I didn't think I could have kids. I mean, I didn't really think about it. You know, I was young. I was like 23, 24. I had been in the Army for a couple years, so I really wasn't ready. I didn't plan that in my life, and I didn't really think that it was true until she came into the world. June 19th, 1991. I didn't believe it. I saw my partner grow with the stomach and everything, but I still didn't believe it. I still didn't believe it. I still didn't believe it. But it was a beautiful thing. I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready by a long shot. The first 6 months was kind of chaotic because, you know, when the baby's born, you don't know what's safe, what's not safe. You don't. You want to be real soft with the baby, and you know it's all cute, but you still got to change the diapers and clean up the throw up and everything that comes with it. And
That ain't cute at all.
no, that wasn't cute. But something reared in me after the 6 months. I didn't want to be like my father.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that was rough.
That was rough.
That was rough.
Your father, he wasn't there for you.
Well, I don't know about being there. When you're a father, there's a lot of things going on in your mind. Some things, are you doing right by your children? Are you doing right by your family? You know, your immediate family, your extended family, or really trying to find yourself. And, you know, I don't really know how I made a connection with my father. Like I told you, my father was kind of strict. He was mean, but like on the outside of our family dynamics, everybody respected him. Everybody said, you know, he was a good man, and he was hard, but he was fair. He was a hard worker. And back in my day, you know, when I was growing up, your neighbor could discipline you.
Right.
So everybody knew everybody.
Right.
So it was a tight-knit kind of group on my street. So it was kind of wild. We never played baseball together. We never played basketball together. I can remember a couple times that we went crabbing together, and I can remember long trips going to see my grandmother in Trenton and listening to Kenny Rogers, the Manhattans on an 8-track tape. And, you know, he didn't really talk that much. We left Old Dark 30. You know, the sun was about to rise. And he gathered us in the car. And it was a Bonneville convertible. Yeah. And, you know, I can remember riding for hours until we got there. And then when we got there, you know, we sat around a little bit, but we really didn't do things together, you know, besides that. So that was kind of rough.
So basically, he wouldn't really. So in your own words, you consider him to be a good man. You think there's a difference between a good man and a good father?
Oh yeah, it's a big difference. You could be a outstanding man, but you could be a crappy dad. You know, fathers come in different flavors, like anything else. You know, you have some fathers, they don't know what to do and they're just clueless. You have some fathers that they accept the role as what it is and they do the best they can with what they have. And then you have some fathers that are just crappy, man, because they didn't have a good upbringing. They feed that to their kids, you know, and I don't want to say a lot of that came with me because, like I said, he passed away. You know, my dad was like 60-some years old when he passed away. So, you know, he didn't really have that strength, you know, when you're young. When you're growing up with your kids and you young, they want to do something, you kind of have the same likes and dislikes. You know, you like sports, they like sports. You could decently play so they can play, you know, and listen, I can remember one time I was playing sports. It was football, and it's the neighborhood football called Bobcats. And my dad, he wasn't there. Now my mom, she was there. But this one instance, man, I couldn't fit in the equipment that they had. So my mom went to this place called Jamesway and bought the equipment. And I went out to the practice to play, and I got laughed off the field. And I didn't have my dad to tell me, yo, it's going to be all right, or you need to make sure this is the gear you wear, or, you know, what you should do and what you shouldn't do. I didn't have that type of relationship with him.
Just pertinent things that the father would fill in, and because you're a child and you wouldn't know.
You wouldn't know.
So you think that he would have the experience that he would know to tell you.
And, you know, the craziness was, in my neighborhood, other fathers would be with their kids. But it never really dawned on me, maybe because of the fact that I kind of wasn't interested in football or the sports thing. I mean, I liked to play because everybody else liked to play, and I was an okay player. But did I notice that other parents was there? Yeah. You know, I noticed that. Kids notice those things. You know, they might not speak upon it because they kids. Right. You know, if you don't know it's a bad thing, then you don't really, you clueless to it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, in a nutshell, man, I didn't really know my father. I knew of him. You know what I mean? People spoke about him. Even in his passing, you know, the house was full of people, but I didn't really know him, man.
So what do you think that, like, even the time that you did know him, that the things that you might have disliked about him, that you made sure that you didn't repeat that with your children?
Oh, man, let me tell you, my dad drunk a lot, and he liked nice cars, and he liked to drink. He did the best he could with what he had, man. You know, we talking 57.
Right.
That's when he was young. You know, the 50s, color bathrooms, white bathrooms. There's so much stuff going on.
So do you think that, now, it seems like you making, like, excuses for him? Do you feel as you've been making excuses for him all your life?
Well, I don't think I'm making excuses. I will tell you, being a father, I can relate to him. Sometimes when you're a father, you don't know that there's resources out there for you, and you don't know how to use them resources, even if you had them. So am I making excuses? Not really, because I don't know his shoes. Okay. I don't know what he was going through. I don't know what his life was like. I do know a little bit about him from what people told me. His mom used to take him with her on the train, and she would go from place to place, and that's how they lived.
Okay.
You know, back then it was rough. And so I can imagine how his childhood was. I know that he didn't know his father. I mean, there's so many dynamics to him that I don't know about. It's hard to make any type of assumption. You know what I mean?
Did it make you, like, being the fact that, you know, he had passed away at such a young age for yourself, did it make you more independent?
Heck no. Listen, let me tell you something. Boys need their father.
Okay.
I mean, it's an emotional thing, man. Boys need their father. If you can't be in their life, you just need to step aside and let the other partner, brother, or I mean, if they don't have one, let the mom do their thing. So many times we get in the way, and I just know that from me. I can imagine my brother, because inadvertently I did the same thing to him. Now, I ain't his father, but, when you're oldest, when the father's gone, the oldest supposed to step up.
Take over, right.
And, I left and went to the military. Now, when I talked to my brother, man, it was a decade before we really talked. And my brother was into big stuff, like doing all types of stuff back then. We talk in the 80s. So when I came back for R&R, he wasn't my little brother no more. But I forgot that, because when I came back, I looked him as what? My little brother.
Right.
He wasn't little no more. And, over time, because we coming a little forward, I found out, and he never admitted to me about the regrets he had of me leaving.
Right.
I never knew that. So let's go back to my dad. Man, when I closed my dad's eyes, man, I didn't have no feeling. Like, my mom thought it was something wrong with me because I ain't really cry, because we didn't really have a connection. Like, I knew he was the breadwinner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I knew he was a hard worker. I knew he liked to drink. He's the one that showed me how to cut the grass in the yard so it looked just right, how to make sure the car was clean, because he would do it. Those some of the things that I emulated of him. Making sure I had a nice car, making sure my billfold had money in it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Making sure, your family was taken care of. We didn't have that talk.
So
I just saw it.
wasn't fulfilling inside.
No.
Just outside.
That was just it. It was, I could get that from him because that's what he alluded. I emulated from him because that's what I saw. We didn't talk about it. I just saw that from him. I saw that when he would party hard, but come 5 a.m, he got himself together and he went to work. I don't care how drunk he was. I don't care how tired he was. I don't care if he was sick, man. He ain't never missed no day of work. Okay. You know what I mean? And so those are unwritten rules. I call them so unwritten rules, I tell my daughter, I call them life lessons. Life lessons, yeah. So I didn't cry. I felt a little bad, but at the same time, I got to know him to be a fragile man because I cleaned him. He passed away with cancer, and it just tore his body up. Man, he was a thick man, about 180 pounds, 170 pounds, 6'1", bald head like me, but he had no teeth. But he was strong.
Okay.
And when he found out he had cancer, it just ate him alive, man. So, I would wash him when I come home, and I would take care of him. I would make sure he was clean, and I can see it in my visual cortex. My mind's memory. I could tell you everything about him, man, as opposed to what he looked like, how he looked, but what he thought, no, I couldn't tell you what he thought. I couldn't tell you where my tree starts. You know what I mean? Those things we didn't talk about. We didn't.
Well, you being like as a father, what would you tell like your son? Is like, what do you think like the most important thing to remember as a father?
The most important thing is to be there. Sometimes you don't need to say nothing. Just listen. For men or your daughters or your sons, sons are real important, man. Sons are real important because why? They the basis of everything. When you set up something, your wife, your girlfriend, your significant other, they look to you to make certain decisions. And when you can't make them, or when you don't know, it's like, whew, what's going on? I can't remember my father crying. So if I saw him crying, I'm like, hey, the world about to go off. Like something about to happen. Like it's getting ready to be mass hysteria. You know what I mean? That's really important. To be able to just listen to your son, man, and watch him grow up. Even if you're not in his mother's life, you should be in his life. But now, let me just say that with a caveat. Man, if you a dirtbag, I mean, if you are worthless, you don't need to be in his life, man. You like a crab. You just pulling him down. You know what I mean?
But what if he wants you in his life?
You know what? And I have ran across that. I may mention that I treat my soldiers like, my kids, and I have females and I have males. I was hard on the females, man, because they were single parents, but the males, I would rip them apart. Because you know what? When you have a child, that child don't get to pick who his father is. That child didn't say, yo, let me look at these pictures. Right. Lord, just hold on a minute, because you about to send me down. Let me look at these pictures. Right. Okay, I don't want the one in the wheelchair. I don't want that one. I want the one that got bad credit. I want the one that is clueless with his finances. Right. That's the one I want, because that's what happens. And fathers don't realize that. Young fathers, man, first of all, they got to find out what role they want. Okay. Because there's a father, and then everything else comes second. You can be a husband, but you also a father. You wear these different hats, but you got to prioritize. And sometimes being a father takes precedence over you getting that new Cadillac. Yeah. Sometimes being a father takes precedence over you trying to get that promotion. I know that you want the promotion, more money, gets better place, takes care of your family, but you lose that chance. You can never go back in time and undo it. You know what I mean? So many times, I'm blessed. I don't have too many regrets. I mean, I'm a soldier, and there's things that we do in our life, but man, I enjoyed the ride. Yeah. My father, you know what? I just enjoy what little bit I can remember of him, and I take solace of that. The bad stuff, you get the good and the bad, but that don't make me. You know what I mean? That don't make me. I mean, if he was to sit right there where you was at, I would probably be like I am now. And I'm very confident. It's a thin line between being arrogant and confident. But I'm very confident. So I wouldn't say anything, and I make him have to acknowledge me. Because I think that you can be your own man if that's what you want to be. But even when you think that no one has mentored you as a father, I am the product of other men that have taken a moment for me. They saw that I didn't have a father, and they reached out. And they found a way to reach me, you know what I mean? Because, young men, we are hard to reach, man. Young African man is real hard to reach. Yeah. And we talking different generations now, because my generation didn't have no cell phone. Right. This generation, how hard is it to reach out to your son? Every child got a cell phone. No excuse. There's really none. So, it's one of those things that, wow, man. I mean, it's real important to be there,
What would you say to like a father that has, like he has to work like all the time, to maintain a household, and he feels though he's giving 100%, to in raising his kids, because all he can give, because he has to work all day, and he don't have time. So they call him an absentee father. So
now, it's funny you mention that, because I do a lot of mentoring, and I had, the young man say something to me like that. Well, I'm trying to make this paper. And I say, okay, I understand. I said, well, there's a difference between a career and a job. See, a job, man, you ready to come home. You ready to do your 8 hours, and you ready to come home. But a career, that helps your kids. That gives you time to be with your children. Because depending on what you want to do or how you want to do it, Once again, it goes back to your son didn't ask to come to this world. You brought him in here. Whether you did it by accident or whether you planned it, that was your thought process. So now, with that said, what do? There's many things to do. Slow your spending. Live within your means. Everybody get 2 days off.
Right.
Okay? I'm not a church-going person. I really am not. But if you go to church, you meet other people that's in the same situation as you. And they've already been there, done that. They can tell you how to fix it. You get other things out of it. You can switch up your shifts sometimes. You could use your vacation time. You don't have to spend every waking hour with your son. But if you spend those moments that matter, my man get ready to get his little report card. Be there. My man learning how to ride his bike. Now he ride wheelies. Take 2 hours early off. Go watch him ride them wheelies. Teach him a skill. Those little moments, they add up to big moments, and they supersede all the other stuff. So if you really working them many hours and you can pull a couple hours off, you're not absentee no more.
There you go.
You know what I mean? And the sad thing about it is a son's loyalty is unlimited, man. He gives it to you regardless. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He gives it to you regardless. You could be 6 days out of 7 worthless. And that one day you show up and do some things, oh my God, he done lit up. He done forgot about the other 6 days. So it's really no excuse. You know, as much as people say there is, or, men, there ain't no excuse, man. That's not what you want to do. Now me, just be honest. Be honest, because if you be honest and say, you know what, I'm not in a good place and I don't want to be your dad. It's going to hurt him, but he know your place. He know where to slot you. Because he don't have to put you in this slot. He's my dad. And then you don't show up. He's that no good person again. Then you show up. Oh, he's my dad. Now he all mixed emotion and don't know what to do. But if you honest with him and say, and I ain't, I'm exaggerating a little bit. I'm exaggerating. But if you talk to him, he know where to place you and put you in the right position so that you will play precisely the way you are. Because you got so many dads, they matching clothes. But he ain't seen you in 2 months. You know what I'm saying? So, the dad is upset because now his son is on Ritalin and he don't know what happened. How his son get on Ritalin. Right. And his son had ADHD for the longest because he knocking kids out. And, the mom trying to help, trying to figure out a way to do it, and she's doing it on her own. But now you trying to get in his way. Well, I ain't giving him no medicine. I ain't going to put him on that medicine. Now, where you been? Because if you was in his life, then maybe, just maybe, he wouldn't be like that. Now, I ain't saying it's a medical thing about the father's not being there and the child being on Ritalin. I'm just saying you don't even know what's going on with your kid.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
let me ask you this. What fulfillment do you get from being a father? Clint get?
Man, let me tell you.
Being a father?
I become a legend.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, it ain't nothing better than somebody speaking about you and you ain't even around.
Wow.
And they remembering. You remember. Well, they call me Sarge. And then, matter of fact, I don't even say that, man. I know this guy. He a warrant officer, man. Warrant officer 3. He retired. He got a job. He got his own business. He worked for Snap Tools. And then he do his own things with the Harley, fixing the audio speaker, doing all types of stuff. Let me tell you something. When that joker say, yo, because of you, I'm where I'm at, man, that make my heart feel good. You know what I mean? Or somebody gets something because they was working so hard and they finally get it. When you on that list where they said, thank God, I appreciate you for that. Thank you, Sergeant Holloway. Or thank you, Clint. When you on that list,
yeah,
bruh, bruh, ain't that right there, that's forever.
Yeah.
You know, I don't ask for much, man. I get that enjoyment from it. I get that enjoyment from showing somebody how to do something that never knew they could do it. You know, when we was young, changing the oil, because now you don't change the oil now.
Right.
But changing the oil, teach them how to change the oil. Man, they be like, change the oil?
Right.
Teach them how to change the tires, change the brakes
Right.
on a car. You know, put in a washing machine. You know, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's forever with them. You know what I mean? Or coming up with a plan and they don't even know what they was doing. They was like, well, I got this problem. You ain't got a problem? That's easy. Why? Because I done been through it. I got that experience. Like you know, I'm 53 years old, and being a father, man, you constantly learning. Constantly. You know what I'm saying?
You're
So
constantly fathering.
constantly. Like, no matter what you do, you always gonna have that title. I don't care what happens, you gonna have that title as a father. You can never go away from it. You can used to be a lawyer. you can used to be a police officer. Hell, you can used to be a soldier.
Right.
But you can't used to be a father.
No.
You can't. Because even if you're not teaching your kids, you done grab somebody else's son and you done pulled them over to the curb and say, yo, man, what's up? What you doing? How you been? You all right? You know what I mean? There's people that I see on the side going to work to get coffee, and they're young brothers just sitting on the corner. And if I get a cup of coffee and I see him, I get him a cup of coffee. You know, and one dude said, it was so funny, he said, I like your shine. I like your shine, brother.
That's good.
Yeah. You know, and that's important. That's what I get. So when you try to define it, man, I don't have the definition, and I damn sure can't find it in Webster's. You know what I'm saying?
You won't.
So, you know, that's kind of hard for me to answer that question. There's so many things in one. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think, is there a difference between a father and a dad?
You know what, man? To be honest with you, you could be a good father, a good dad, or you could be a crappy one. The difference, there is none. If you wear it, you wear it. If you're a father, you're a daddy. Daddy's girl, daddy's boy. You know, I don't per se have a difference in it. Once you wear the title, that's it.
That's it.
That's it.
So let me ask you this question: what's something that you've never told your dad, okay, or your father, that you want to tell him now? Something that you would want to say to him now that you never had a chance to say to him?
Nothing. I'm gonna tell you why. If it is true that there's a heaven and hell, I'm hoping that he's in heaven, but in any event, he gets to watch the events that are playing. I'm hoping that he sees everything I do. And, you know, maybe in his next life, if he has one, he'll do better. But is there something I want to say to him? Nah, I don't want to say nothing to him. I really said a lot of things to him that was important. I told him I loved him. I took care of him. You know what I mean? He didn't ask me. My mother didn't ask me. I assumed that position. I assumed that role. I thought that's what I was supposed to do.
Okay, so the last thing I want to ask you is, if you could finish this sentence, and it goes back to our subject of, or phrase, because of him, your father, I am what?
I am the best I could be. Because of him, I'm the best I could be.
Good.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. That was pretty awesome.
That was very, very awesome. I mean, I really enjoyed myself. Did you enjoy that interview?
I did. I hope everyone enjoyed the show. Please stay tuned for our next episode in our docu-series entitled Because of Him, I Am. Please follow us on our social media platforms.
Our Facebook, our Instagram, our YouTube, and our website, which is www.coleycoleentertainment.com.
Please hit like, please hit subscribe, please share this video, share all of our docu-series. We really appreciate you guys supporting us.
We want you to touch someone's heart. Didn't that interview touch your heart? It sure touched ours. So we want to touch you, touch the world. Reach out, teach one to reach out.
I think you just stole that from somebody. Thanks everybody for watching. We really appreciate your support here at Let's Talk About with Ron and Sharen. So have a good day and be blessed.
Until next time, peace.